Chapter 14, Class 10th, Sources of Energy. Hello students. Today we'll begin with another chapter of science, that is sources of energy. Before beginning the chapter, we should know what is energy. You have studied in class 9th energy and its various forms. Energy can be defined as the capacity or ability to do work, and according to the law of conservation of energy, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. There are so many sources of energy around us, like sun, oceans, fossil fuels, wind, etc. There are so many sources of energy around us, but there are only few which can be considered as a good source of energy. There are certain characteristics that made a source of energy good. The main characteristics are: a good source of energy should be easily available. It should be easy to store and it should be easy to transport. A good fuel should be able to perform large amount of work per unit mass and volume, or a good source of energy must be having a high calorific value. A good source of energy should be economical, because it should not be like that from riding a distance of 1 kilometer we need a fuel that costs lakh rupees. Okay, next is conventional sources of energy. Conventional sources of energy means those resources of energy which were in use from very beginning, means those sources of energy that were used by our grandparents and their grandparents. For example, wood. If you'll ask your grandparent what they used to use as a source of energy, the most probable answer that you'll get is wood. So, the first conventional source of energy is fossil fuel. As the name suggests, fossil means anything that is dug out from the earth, and fuel means anything that gives us energy. And you have studied about the formation of fossil fuels in class 8. So, fossil fuels are formed due to compression of dead organic matter over millions of years buried deep under the earth. Example is coal or natural gas. At present, most of our energy demands are fulfilled by the use of fossil fuels, but there are certain disadvantages associated with fossil fuels. As we all know that on combustion, fossil fuel release various gases that cause air pollution. The main gases released by the combustion of fossil fuel are oxides of nitrogen and oxides of sulfur that may lead to acid rain. Burning coal and petroleum produces harmful oxides of carbon which pollute the air, leading to greenhouse effect. We all have studied greenhouse effect in class 9th. What is greenhouse effect? Basically, greenhouse effect is an effect that is responsible for the warming of the earth, but whenever this warming occurs in large content, it leads to global warming, and we all are very much aware about the consequences of global warming. Next is thermal power plant. Thermal power plants use steam produced by burning fossil fuels to move the turbines to generate electricity. The main purpose of thermal power plant is the generation of electricity. For the purpose of generation of electricity, we need to rotate the turbine. For the rotation of the turbine in thermal power plants, we use coal. By using the coal, we heat the water. As we all know that when we heat the water, it gets converted into steam, and that steam is used for rotation of the turbine, and when the turbines rotate it leads to the production of electricity. But there are various drawbacks that are associated with thermal power plants. Look at this picture of thermal power plant. You'll be able to see the various pollutants that are getting released from thermal power plant. It causes various environmental issues that need to be discussed. Next is hydropower plant. Have you ever visited any dam? Okay, in hydropower plant, as you'll be able to see, there is a reservoir. Reservoir means a place or a space in which we reserve the water. When at the height, this water is having the high potential energy. When we allow this water to fall, its potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy of water helps to rotate the turbine. As the turbine gets rotated, electricity gets produced. Hydropower plants are very much beneficial as compared to thermal power plants. It is not having that much adverse environmental consequences as thermal power plants have. It might be having slight consequences, as you have studied about the adverse effects of dams on our environment. So, what is a turbine if you want to define? A turbine is a rotatory mechanical device that extracts kinetic energy in various forms and converts it into useful work. You all have studied kinetic energy in class 9th. What is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is the energy by virtue of the motion of the object. If a thing is in motion, it possesses kinetic energy. Various uses of this have been implemented in power plants where the shaft of the dynamo is made to rotate by mechanical means. Hydropower plants. Another traditional source of energy is from the kinetic energy of flowing water or harnessing potential energy of water falling from a height. So basically in hydropower plant the energy conversions are potential energy of water into kinetic energy of water into electricity. The next topic is improvement in the technology by using conventional sources of energy, because we know that thermal power plant and hydropower plants have some adverse effects on the environment. So we need to improve the technology so that we can use that sources of energy which don't have that much environmental consequences. These resources we'll discuss in the next lecture. Thank you so much.